Oh, it doesn't say what it is. That's interesting. Normally it would say like what this is on it. You know, I just realized Sarouche was 100% like a tester for the swimming mechanic. Like, I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called a joke. So sometimes people say things that are not true in order to be funny. Knight Harley, Paimon, you're back. You bet we are. Have you found anything new in the meantime? Mr. Caterpillar and I have been doing some research. Ooh, and we've discovered that Seymour doesn't, in fact, have an annihilation mode. That's what you've discovered?
Following data fragment sorting, this phrase was found to have been derived from the novel Prisoner 6 Overrun. In that book, the World Organization launched a mass annihilation agent to hunt a chimera down.
Wait, that stuff's not important at all. Apart from using our free time to go out and investigate, we've also read through the books collected here one more time. We couldn't make heads or tails of them at first, and even now, well, they certainly are well written. I don't know whose handwriting it is, or what scribe or copyist was hired, but their penmanship is clear and clearly beautiful. A master of calligraphy if I ever saw one. Wait, so you were talking about the handwriting? Ugh, Paimon's got a bad feeling about this already. Did you not find anything during this time then? Alright, sorry. I shan't jest any further. As you know, we told you all that we found the last time without holding anything back. However, I fear that this time, there are some clues hidden in details that we must rely on chance to reveal. Chance? Indeed. For example, if no further revelations concerning a murder emerge, then the blood on a painting will always remain a red smear. Ah, okay, I see. Then what would this chance be, Caterpillar? Well, why don't we do a quick recap of everything we've discovered? Let's make some deductions regarding what happened in the past. That might give us the opportunity to fill in some gaps that can help us support or refute our views. That's a good idea. I've always felt like there's so much about this that's familiar, but I can't recall anything about it.
Negative. I can give a continuous account of the resources that I have sorted.
Ugh, silly dog. Didn't you only recover your creator's name after talking to us about the matter? Get wrecked.
Negative. I merely matched similar sounds during said interaction. There was no data loss involved. However, I must append that I, too, find that keyword searches make searching for entries more efficient.
So what do we want to discuss? Well, for a bit of a warm-up, or a teaser, if you would.
You may be referring to a heater.
God damn it. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. So let's start off our deductions with something simple. What is the Marianne in the Anapausis exactly? Huh? That Marianne holds the greatest secret of all. I'm sure you can see that too. Let's get ourselves some armchairs, maybe crack open a few beers. Oh wait, you can't drink yet. Crack open a few beers? You are a hilly churl taking the shape of a human child. What do you mean crack open a few beers? He's just like me for real. I don't think he's just like you, bestie. He's undead. Anyway, let us help you sort our findings out. I'll start first. Well, the name Marianne itself certainly is familiar to me.
The name of the person I was meant to protect is Marianne, yes, but I have no data regarding the identity of the one who resides within the Anapausis. We are missing context. I can only conclude, based on a human's unmodified lifespan, that they are not the same person.
That would seem to be the case, huh? It's been a few hundred years after all. Well, as for Paimon, she ate chicken mushroom skewer this morning? Well, guess it's my turn. You mentioned before that you encountered oceanic creatures that had a great deal of character, one might say personality even. The precondition for such creatures and their characters is the same, that an intelligent oceanid has already understood their original forms beforehand. So were you the one who willed those creatures into being, Anne? Don't you think that's kind of weird? You know, summoning familiar friends to play house with you for who knows how long and stuff? I mean, that is exactly what happened. Well, I didn't do that. I actually had to get to know Petit Chou, Al, and the others first. Well then, in that case, let's see what we can deduce from the things we already know. Then let's begin. Huh? It's already starting? Why else would we be here, Paimon? Oh, brainstorm a bit and find a breakthrough. What Paimon ate this morning? Chicken mushroom skewer. At the risk of missing major plot twists or important foreshadowing, I don't think this is related to Anne's background either. That's so funny. The name Marianne. Anne said the name sounded familiar. I should ask her about it should something come to mind. To Seymour, she is someone that he must protect. Either way, ordinary humans don't live that long. It's been several hundred years, so they're probably not the same person, right? She's not really... Like, she was a fragment of an oceanid. She's not human. The oceanid creatures in Anaporsis. Oceanids are sentient creatures unique to Fontaine, and they can create oceanid creatures through mimicry and transformation. I remember all the strange and wonderful oceanid creatures we saw before we met Marianne. About Anne. Anne is a small oceanid. She didn't create the oceanid creatures in Anaporsis, but she was created by them. Speaking of, just how do oceanids reproduce again? They kind of can't. The Marianne and Anaporsis. The Marianne and Anaporsis seems very mysterious. We once suspected that Anne was a character from her dreams. There are oceanids in Anaporsis. Maybe Osile can create water creatures, but it's extraordinary to be able to imagine creatures with rich personalities. It's almost certain that there's an oceanid in Anaporsis controlling everything. Marianne. Who can she be? Or I guess Lyris. The oceanid Anne. Anne's far too weak to control that whole realm, so she can't be the oceanid behind it all. Okay, so this is... So associate. No, that can't be it. Oh. Okay, yeah. The enigmatic Marianne. Marianne, who has the same name as Seymour's owner, and who seems to know everything. Even if she's not an oceanid, she's probably related to the oceanid behind all of this. I mean, she looks like an oceanid. Let's make conclusion. That's enough for now. More than enough for a warm-up. Correct. The oddities in Anaporsis all point to the powers of the oceanids. I mean, Anne's literally an oceanid. But this is not Miss Anne's doing. All of this together means there's another oceanid in Anaporsis. We can see it on the building. That is what I suspect. An oceanid with whom Marianne has a close relationship. Lyris. Or perhaps she could even be the princess herself. Do you mean to say that Marianne may in fact be Princess Lyris? Yes, Lyris, the Red Empress of the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo from back then. The Red Empress who loves to take heads. Take heads? Oh, this is like from Alice in Wonderland. I seem to have a vague recollection of something like that. Whoa. But it's not a story about Lyris. Rather, it's a fairy tale about someone named Marianne. Yes, the taking heads thing is just a metaphor. Lyris is made of pure water, and so has the ability to dissolve and extract people's wills. The NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo used her to extract the ego and become holy. An interesting way of putting that. So, when Marianne died, Lyris absorbed her consciousness.
Searching for the keyword Lyris has yielded relevant information in my indices.
Everyone's just ignoring Seymour, that's so funny. Talking of the Red Empress, this reminded me of a few things about Marianne. Mull that over a while first, then speak to Miss Anne and Seymour. See if the conclusion you reach awakens any new memories. Paimon feels like you've changed a lot since we met in the Fortress of Meripede, Caterpillar. Would a 5-year-old child and a 15-year-old teenager be the same? Perhaps returning here simply reminds me of the past, and of who I used to be. Time is frozen in the fortress. Being locked up there for a day, or 100 years, I'm afraid it made no difference to me. La Noire is what made time flow for me. Watching her grow reminded me that time still passes, and life is still being born, shining brilliantly, and then being extinguished. And so I changed as well. That said, my past self, the person I was before I met her, would certainly be more helpful to Anne and Seymour in our current situation. That's true. Don't be like that, Paimon. Just think about it. Making up stories for La Noire was nothing more than putting such ways of thinking to good use. Regardless, it has nothing to do with the current situation. You look like you still have questions, Harley. Since we have our own suspicions about Anne and Lyris' relationship, we have topics of discussion that can be used to refute or sustain those conjectures. How do oceanids reproduce? I'm sure you have friends more knowledgeable than I am regarding that. Perhaps you can even find scholars of natural philosophy who have dedicated research to the question. Or you could have asked the oceanids you know personally. True, but you asked me. Of course, I know what you mean. So this is your speculation? I see. Paimon doesn't get it. When we exchanged information earlier, Harley mentioned that Anne is the person in Marianne's dream. Or perhaps she might be a manifestation made by Marianne. An oceanid oceanid. Oceanid oceanid? Why the repetition? Are you just trying to make it sound cuter? No, she's like an oceanid from an oceanid. Apologies, perhaps my description was ill done. Still, can an oceanid create an oceanid creature version of an oceanid? Wow, that's deep. That's like asking if hard candies can be used as the filler for another hard candy. So what would you say to that? This question's really interesting, but Paimon's already hungry for answers. I suppose so. Still, you may not realize just how deep this rabbit hole goes, so let me explain. Do tell. You might be confused as to why there are oceanid creatures with personalities in the Anaporsis. If oceanids can create oceanid creatures, then can they create oceanid humans or oceanid oceanids? Convention dictates that it's rare for oceanids to be able to mimic a human, unless the human drowns in their arms. Or the oceanid has spent extensive time with the person and knows everything about them. But all the people on Fontaine were oceanids. That's the thing that I'm sort of struggling a little bit with, like, we learned in the Archon quest that all the humans in Fontaine were actually oceanids that have now been turned into full humans. But that does not seem to apply to the logic behind either Farina's story quest or this. And that's what's throwing me off. It seems inconsistent. And the oceanid in question must also have tremendous wisdom and compassion. I'm afraid perhaps only one as powerful as Rodea could do it. Interesting. Wow, so that means Edea must be incredibly strong. So it's rare to mimic humans, but not impossible. Now, creating another oceanid, that's different. Creating humans using human knowledge can only be achieved by gods, and the same applies to oceanids creating oceanids. It usually should be impossible, in this world at least. What's that mean? Unless this human or oceanid has already placed themselves above their own kind and attempted such insanity. You mean they thought they had become a god? That's right. Followers blindly believe in their leaders, who in turn blindly believe in themselves, giving rise to delirium and delusions. I can do what a god can do. Their deeds are not that great after all. A powerful belief is also a powerful will, and magic is a skill that molds reality to your will. This seems to be more like talking about Renee. Perhaps Marianne doesn't consider herself an oceanid type? Perhaps. It's possible and quite understandable too. If nothing else, the Lyris I know doesn't have this kind of intelligence, nor would she be this crazy. So Renee did it. I have some less mainstream ideas about how oceanids reproduce, but they're not important, and we can discuss them later. The thing that's thrown me off somewhat, as well, is that it seems like Caterpillar is supposed to be Carter, but where did he get all the intelligence from? Because when Carter was a human, he was kind of like a bit dumb and couldn't keep up with the rest of them.
Shall I summarize the entries regarding Lyris I possess for you two?
Alright.
Omitting the standard citation format. Reconstructing output to match format. Report to superiors. Lyris is a registered oceanid. She is not eligible to be stationed in the waters outside Fontaine and has become a special source of information for the nation. She was appointed as the director of an orphanage to symbolize the love and affection of the previous Hydro Archon. The orphanage's affairs were mainly managed by its human vice-director.
An orphanage director? Then how is she connected to the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo? It was an orphanage. And you can see how red my nose has gotten from me pinching it.
As director, Lyris was very affectionate towards the children and quite devoted to them, but her intelligence among oceanids was below average.
Interesting.
She wasn't very good at working out the cause and effect of things, nor could she even count. As a result, she was not qualified to perform covert investigations.
Oh, sounds kind of like a big old cat mom who can't count. What? You know, because cats can't count, so they pick up their kittens one by one and keep going back until they see there aren't any kittens left. Oh, wait, is that true?
Later, the orphanage was destroyed during the calamity, and official records of her stopped there. They say she failed to understand the link between the disaster, the orphans fleeing, and her own conduct, and so she wanders the ruins, drowning in guilt and expectation. I have an underwater locomotion module. Once Marianne and I dove down to the ruins of the orphanage, whose coordinates were the same as those of Anaporsis. There we found an ocean swimming sadly in circles. When she next appeared in the record, she was a core member of the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo and the subject of a high-priority arrest warrant.
Oh shit. Oh, but she doesn't seem like a bad person. Considering that she may be connected to Anne, she must have been tricked.
Ah yes, there's another important piece of information worth noting. The orphanage's name was the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute.
NARZISSENKREUZ.
These are all Measure Say Phantom files that Mr. Alain Guillotine recorded for testing light sensitivity while designing me. The output is via my image-to-text-to-speech module. According to eyewitness testimony regarding who I suspect to be Lyris, there shouldn't be any problems. And you may have heard of this elsewhere, but it's worth mentioning again. Alain and Marianne were orphans in the care of the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute before the Measure Say hunter, Emmanuel Guillotine, took them in.
God. Thank you, Seymour.
Don't mention it, noble madam.
I regret committing to that voice. Because I have had to keep doing it. And it's hard and hurts. Ugh. Night Harley, I've remembered the name Marianne. Oh, do tell. It's familiar to me because it's from a children's story. The same one that the Red Empress comes from. Get good then, frick you. The female lead, Liddell, was mistaken for Marianne, the servant, and Marianne never appeared throughout the entire story. Maybe Marianne never really existed, except as a figment in someone's dreams. How do you know about this story, Anne? And isn't that a good question? How do I know about it? The memory feels more vivid than those I have of the story of the evil dragon Narcissus. Now, let's reorganize the information that everyone just recalled. This might take quite some time, and might be somewhat hard on our throats. Yeah, especially if I'm doing Seymour's voice. I'm ready. So, regarding Alain's younger sister, Marianne, the Anaporsis is Marianne, the Red Empress Lyris, and the Anne who's with us. What will our conclusion be? How will we sustain it, and how shall we refute it? Everyone gathers. Is there anything else you feel we should add?
As I mentioned before, Marianne is not only the princess in Anne's story, but she is also the person I must protect. She is the younger sister of Alain Guillotine, the one who designed me, 4AC-V07.
As for matters concerning me, I suppose you already know all about them, Night Harley. Speaking of which, didn't we also hear all sorts of stuff while we were in Elinus? Seymour was also damaged during that time. How did it go? Did you think of anything? About the damage to Seymour and Elinus. That's right, Seymour was damaged inside Elinus, and Mamer's been taking care of him.
To my shame, yes. Though I do not have such emotions, you can see it as me having lowered my assessment of myself.
And according to Elinus, the battle that occurred within his body ended quite terribly. It's making my nose blocked. Evidently, that was the battle that damaged you, and it was an incredibly fierce one. But considering that you were damaged, then your master might have been... Common sense dictates that the fate of Marianne Guillotine, sister of Alain Guillotine, was most likely a grim one. But this world is full of tales of loyal knights who exchanged their lives for a miracle, so you needn't grieve too much, Seymour. Seymour appears to have entered data fragment sorting mode out of pure shock. Oh god. Any nose blowers in chat, bro? But your master, Marianne, was an ordinary human being, wasn't she? And the time that has passed since then far surpasses the lifespan of any human. How did it go? Did you think of anything? The Red Empress Lyris.
She was an important figure in the NARZISSENKREUZ order, and she is also the other Oceanid involved in the tale apart from Ms. Anne.
One of only 2 Oceanids, and we also just agreed that we believe there must be an Oceanid behind Anaporsis. But her traits don't match those of the Marianne we encountered. Could it be that Lyris's imagination was behind everything, even me? That's unlikely. Seymour mentioned that her intelligence was quite limited, so phantoms of this sort would be quite hard for her, similar to how an author would struggle to write a character more intelligent than themselves. That's true. In fairy tales, the kitten may dream of their living little master, but I fear such things don't happen much in real life. So who is behind all this, and who in the world is that Marianne? So my understanding is that Renee created it all. And did so with Lyris. The Oceanid Anne. Huh? What about me again? We once suspected that you might be the person that Marianne dreamed of. So in your view, Marianne is the Oceanid behind the curtain, yes? I don't know. Well then, do you find the name Lyris familiar? She is, after all, the only Oceanid involved in this apart from yourself. If you mean the title The Red Empress, then yes, I do have some impression of it. The Marianne and Anaporsis. That makes her our prime suspect, then. To be honest, were you using the process of elimination, you actually already guessed as much long ago. I didn't want to disrespect Anne, though. You're right, but you do already have a version of the story in your heart. Your own interpretation, yes? If that's the case, then we should go find that Marianne and see for ourselves.
Please permit me to change the topic for a moment. Does this mean that I shall no longer be able to fulfill my orders to protect Marianne?
We've worked out this much, and that's the only bit you care about? Well, yeah, he's a robot. It may be cruel, but from the moment we discovered that the guillotine siblings were from centuries ago, it was probably inevitable.
Correction. So the conclusion would be that it was my incompetence that exposed Marianne to danger.
Oh dear. Do not blame yourself. You have fought to the point of destruction. You have done your part. There's no need to be so pessimistic either. Though that is an odd thing to say to a machine. Yeah, it's like pouring Fanta into a sink and then saying, "Sink, you'll get fat if you keep drinking like this." What? Paimon, huh? Oh, 4AC-V07. I can't believe you remember that.
What is it, Mr. Caterpillar? Why use my official designation?
We may not have reached any conclusions, but we now know what to do next. Look, there is a Marianne in Anaporsis too, and she also has close links to the NARZISSENKREUZ order.
My long-term memory module confirms this.
As such, there's no need to restore your logic module to factory settings yet. Let's take a step back. We can still go and find this Marianne.
Thank you for your logical troubleshooting and emotional adaptive maintenance. I think what you said makes sense. It is not yet time to admit defeat and restore myself to my initial settings in order to take on a new mission.
Yeah, that's right, you silly doggy. Let's leave things here for a while then. Once you're ready, we can continue. Why don't we go find this Marianne? Let's solve that mystery before tackling the NARZISSENKREUZ auto issue. Ah, the fairy tale underworld. I gather that some things happened over there then. Oh, we just ran into immunity-related issues, often due to Night Harley's hydro resonance, that's all. Paimon feels like some extraordinary instinct awakened in you after you met Seymour, Anne.
Is it time to review responsibilities and apportion blame? I do not think I should be held accountable, for I can only override my protective prerogative in moments of great danger.
Don't worry, Night Harley. We'll make Marianne tell us everything this time. So shall we go then? We're back again. This time I must... Marianne. That's the spirit, Bizanne. In truth, I must confess to being somewhat jealous of you. You still held out hope of recovering your past. I've been searching for centuries, but I haven't found a thing. So please, do your best for this old caterpillar's part as well, alright? Figure your past out, and come to accept your present self. Yep, I will. Oh, they're here, but didn't they... dissolve? Whoa, what are these guys doing here again? Wait, isn't that Al's group? Oh ho ho, yes, it is us. And you are Knight Harley and Paimon? It's really good to see you. It's so good that I can't control myself anymore. Please dodge to the best of your ability. She asked us to send you a message. Now let me take out her handwritten letter with my hands, which are much like yours, yellow and white ones. I don't want to hear your stories. I prefer my version. Are we gonna have to fight them? Oh, we are. Interesting.
Say cheese.
Damn. Huh, the bubble that was here before is gone too. Yikes. They're, a little bit hostile to our presence. Well, it was Princess Lyris's magic. That's just how the story goes. Let me think of a way. Close your eyes, everyone.
A temporary optical sensor shutdown? Understood. They will be reactivated on your command.
Wait, why do we have to do that? The essence of a mime is pretense, the charade that something is still here. And belief is the heart of magic, the faith that there is meaning here. So let's close our eyes. So, Anne, begin imagining what it would look like if that bubble was still here. Oh yeah, the power of imagination. You close your eyes and feel some sort of fluctuation. I prefer the story of the NARZISSENKREUZ adventure team sitting down happily for tea time after their adventure has ended. Wow, it really appeared! The auto called this step the process of imagining something in such detail, imaging. Let's go over and have a look. Interesting. That pinching my nose is making me sneeze. Eh? It's the entrance that's disappeared this time. And do you know to make the portal... can you do your imaging thing on it? Alright, let me give it a try. You close your eyes and a lonesome silence comes over you. But everyone's left. They won't come back, no matter how long I wait. I can't. It seems... Wait, why? How are we supposed to see Marianne then? I suspect that this is because the portal has lost meaning, and thus cannot be recreated. From what you told me before, the entrance that was once placed here led to a story that had yet to be written. Now that she has said everything she wanted to, the story no longer has any meaning. Marianne is rejecting our answer, and that is why the way in is shut. Does this mean we're going to return empty-handed? It does seem so. I wouldn't say we're completely out of luck. Did you notice something we didn't then, Knight Harley? I heard something while Anne was imaging. I did hear something then, so you can hear it too? Would that be Marianne's real thoughts? What did you two hear? Might not be best to discuss personal secrets here. The walls might have ears and all. Let's head back before talking about this. You return with everyone to the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo. So could you tell us what you heard? Perhaps a hilly child might hear something that humans and oceanids will not, just as how dogs and humans differ in that regard.
I must correct your statement. My auditory components can indeed pick up higher and lower frequencies as compared to humans. However, I am not a dog. Moreover, a dog's low-frequency hearing is similar to that of a human.
Is that so? Well, I was talking about real dogs, not you, 4AC-V07. Silly dog. That said, I didn't think you would hear it too, Knight Harley. I wonder if we'd heard the same thing. But everyone's left. They won't come back, no matter how long I wait. Looks like we heard the same thing. I suspect that this was the inner voice of Marianne. Did she say anything else? I'm not trying to invade anyone's privacy or anything. I just think that we're onto something here with you mentioning these words, Harley. Let me think. After that, I also heard something like, I prefer the story of the NARZISSENKREUZ adventure team sitting down happily for tea time after their adventure has ended. And then... I don't want to hear your stories. I prefer my version. Have you noticed something off about this, Harley?
Please state your case.
Let's think our own thoughts through first. Perhaps we really might be able to come to some conclusion.
I am very sorry. I may be unable to offer any logical support at this time. My listening equipment cannot hear inner voices.
Don't worry, you've helped plenty already.
Could you tell me your assessment? Is the Marianne from Anaporsis the person I am meant to protect or not?
I don't think she is.
I trust your judgment. However, I prefer the story of the NARZISSENKREUZ adventure team sitting down happily for tea time after their adventure has ended. It seems that she too was an orphan from the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute, but other relevant information cannot be matched to her. Logical error. Data fragment sorting initiated.
Can't breathe. Knight Harley, is there anything else you want to say? I'm just an Oceanid who doesn't know anything, and I'm really bad at thinking. Even if you just told me a random story, I'd still believe it all, hook, line, and sinker. The world is too complicated after all, and I'm not experienced enough to spot any holes. I think maybe she's like... Anne is the most Lyris part of everything. If Lyris had below average intelligence, I wouldn't do that. Thank you, Knight Harley. I think that the Marianne in Anaporsis is the same as me. She might look smart, but she doesn't want to accept this complicated world, so she chooses to protect herself with fairy tales. But even fairy tales must end. You don't seem to want to link the two of them together. Neither elimination nor enumeration is very fair to Anne. What a coincidence. I happen to agree. But I have some other thoughts to share too, though they may have nothing to do with the next step in our reasoning. Are you willing to listen? I'm listening. Earlier, we broached the topic of Oceanid reproduction. It's a huge taboo for Oceanids to mimic and transform into one of their own kind, just as it is for humans to create humans. But you see, humans can create humans. Through love. And also come. Go, pursue eternity, not through mystery, but love. What if, by some chance, this mysterious method of Oceanid reproduction is accomplished through imagination and mimicry? Perhaps their regret or remorse gives birth to a thought, and as they imagine the path that could have been taken, a new Oceanid is born. That's a very interesting idea. Come, red flags and bad decisions is how it came to be. Yeah, same. Same, actually. We'll never know. After all, it's a secret passed down amongst Oceanids only. In any case, we'll begin once you're ready. Let's begin. This morning, Paimon 8. I don't know why I can't get this out of my mind. This can't really be foreshadowing, can it? The talkative Marianne. Marianne, who wove a fairy tale without an ending. She refused our visit, but she mentioned her memories for the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute. It sounded like she was waiting for everyone to return to the Institute ruins. Oh. The Red Empress Lyris, a member of the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo from several hundred years ago. Her whereabouts afterward are unknown. She is also the only other Oceanid involved other than Anne. The one that Seymour was supposed to protect. Something happened in Elinus, resulting in Seymour's damage and her disappearance. Where is she, and what is her relationship with Marianne? Memories of waiting in the ruins. The person who once waited within the deserted ruins for everyone's return was Lyris, the former director. Memories of the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute. The only person who grew up in the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute and has a matching background is Marianne Guillotine. Director Lyris's memories. Marianne has Lyris's memories. Marianne has Marianne Guillotine's memories. Okay, so, yeah, so Lyris and Marianne, well, Lyris, what's the word? Absorbed, there we go. Lyris absorbed Marianne, well, her consciousness anyway, when she died in Elinus. Marianne is Lyris. If so, then Marianne is Lyris. Another piece of evidence we have is that they can both use Oceanid powers to control Anaporsis. If so, then Marianne is Marianne Guillotine. They have the same name and matching memories. Associate. The identities are contradictory. But how can she be both people at the same time? Oceanid. I like how this whole quest so far has just been like slowly figuring out what everyone who actually reads the lore already understood. This must mean that Lyris, an Oceanid, probably has special powers. Yep. Associate with... dissolving the personality and will. Her job in the Ordo was to dissolve the members' egos. What do they mean by that? What could have happened between her and the missing Marianne Guillotine? For some reason, Lyris dissolved Marianne Guillotine's personality, and afterward their wills, now mixed, began to dream. They dreamed of a simple world, where the princess is saved and the evil dragon gets killed, while the heroes are always pressing onward. They dreamed of a world where everything was simple and had an answer, as long as Anne was there. Thus, Anne and Marianne were born. We've put the pieces of the case that were floating all over the algae sea back together. It's just an empty box, even after being put together, but we finally figured out what the lost pearls should look like. What are you trying to say, Caterpillar? Wait, don't give Paimon any hints. She's gonna figure this out on her own. We pieced together a good guess from the clues, but the truth is still unproven.
Of course, my speech analysis module has determined that Miss Paimon is correct.
Actually, I meant that we may never know the truth, but I'm afraid we have no choice but to accept this conjecture. So, Night Harley, is this the secret of my birth? I'm afraid I can't accept something like this right away. I understand, Ms. Anne. It's a shocking fact, and it will require you to accept yourself again. But I don't think it should be that difficult to do so. After all, knowing your past does not require abandoning everything about the present.
I do not understand the specific context of this discussion, but I would like to add that I do not believe I am different from how I was before suffering this damage. Even though you insist on addressing me as a silly dog, my identification number is still 4ACV07.
Come on, it's not that serious. I promised Night Harley that I would accept this conclusion, as long as it's reasonable. Then I have a suggestion, one that will resolve Miss Anne's quandary and put a stop to NARZISSENKREUZ's plans. Do they still have plans? Aren't they all dead? NARZISSENKREUZ. Oh, Paimon remembers now. You mentioned it before, Caterpillar. Just who is he, huh? Well, simply put, the leader of the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo. Whoa, sounds like you've got an impressive resume. But isn't the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo always up to no good? Wouldn't that make him the nastiest of the lot?
Of course, during my time with my master, creator, and the other Majesty hunters, we devoted most of our time to hunting the Order down.
Oh, interesting.
As I said before, the goal of the Elinas operation was to capture or eliminate NARZISSENKREUZ as well. However, my memory does not contain any intelligence regarding his involvement.
That's a given. Looking back at it now, he was merely using us as bait. And I wasn't the only one. Does he realize he's Carter? It was the same for Jacob, Lyris, and many others in the Ordo. I'm afraid the Elinas operation was probably never more than a red herring, with the goal of leading you and Guillotine away to buy him more time to execute his true plans. Remember the doomsday clock I mentioned? It's what the Ordo considers the countdown to the apocalypse, right? To be more precise, it's the apocalypse as calculated by the world formula. This planet itself should survive just fine, though. The beast of the stars shall drink the amniotic fluid of the world dry. Yeah, so this is the prophecy of the whale. 100 years more and all surface life shall be wiped away.
Once life on the surface is wiped out, only that which is underwater will remain. Can a planet full of fish eventually rise up to the ocean of stars?
The thought of all terrestrial life going extinct is pretty spooky. When you say things like that, it does give things a romantic ring. What?
It's the heading of a Yai Publishing House novel from a few years back, but Mare brought it back to the village to learn how to paint.
Oh, no wonder. Anyways, for myself and the others gathered here, though the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo is the source of all our troubles, Its objective and NARZISSENKREUZ's great purpose are actually completely selfless. He only took the actions he did because he calculated the coming of the apocalypse. He wishes to save the world. So is the world really on the verge of destruction?
I believe this to be a pathological delusion caused by paranoia.
Were the apocalypse real, would you be able to forgive NARZISSENKREUZ? No, it's a bit too early to consider such things. You have yet to understand what happened to you, Anne. And as for you, Seymour, your hostility is a result of your programming and the duties it imposes. I suppose we must find the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ. The Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ? I'm talking about the real one, of course. As much as it may be quite strange to say that the ceremonial sword of a magic society is real. Not only will it help us stop NARZISSENKREUZ's plans, but its unique powers may be able to undo the merging of wills. We should be able to separate Lyris and Marianne. And then, Miss Anne, you can defeat the evil dragon Narcissus and rescue Princess Lyris. Regardless, let's get moving first. That's the spirit. It might take some time to explain, so let's move out first and I'll explain when we get there. Atmospheric visibility is acceptable today. Enough that you can see that tower over there, yes? That I can. That building was once known to the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo as the Tower of Ipsissimus, but we would later call it the Tower of Gestalt. Wait, that's German. I guess NARZISSENKREUZ is also. Oh. It's from psychology, an organized whole that is perceived as more than the sum of its parts. So like an oceanid. What's Ipsissimus? Oh, it's Latin. It is essentially the superlative of self, translating rather approximately to his most selfness, or selfist. It was named for the idea that things that have been separated need to be combined to display their original, complete form. So this was the tower that Renee was in. But I suppose I might be speaking in reverse. The heart was complete to begin with, and the mistake was to divide it up for separate study. Paimon didn't get a thing you said. It's fine, don't worry about it. Plays on words are also a trick that mysterious organizations enjoy pulling. What matters is what we must do next.
Some of the vocabulary you used is missing from my semantic indexes, so I could not properly parse your meaning. But I understood the last sentence. Please tell me what I should do.
While investigating alone, I found a map of the seal of chemical marriage. You could say that I found 4 seals. Oh! Interesting. Oh, is that like the Kabbalah world tree theory thingy? And this tower is one of the locations? That's not the place we need to go. That said though, who can be sure? Perhaps our destinies will yet take us there in the future. Either way, we need to use the position of the tower to locate the other 4 places. That's why we've come here first. So what are those 4 seals for? That said, we've discovered from experience that it's usually best practice to just break the seals and give whatever ringleader we find a good walloping. As for me, I'd like to restore the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ. Cool, a new weapon! It's more for ceremonial use, but it could be used as a weapon, I guess. Well, I suppose we could also just call it the answer. As I've said before, the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo once had a ceremony to remove the ego and will. The Holy Blade was used in that ritual. I remember something about that. If Lyris and Marianne's wills created Anne, and if the old me was placed in some hilly child's body... Ah, he's remembering! He's realizing. As Kylie Jenner once said. Wait a minute. Didn't we already find the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ? What? Really? Look. Oh, we just had it.
A wooden sword.
It's the wooden sword we found during our adventures. Yes, so it is. Hey, what kind of a reaction is that? Perhaps you can think of it like this. That's a wooden sword found in the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute, named the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ. That makes it more important than any ordinary wooden sword. Perhaps it might be of use when the time is right, just like the Holy Blade in the story. Really? You don't need to try to make us feel better. Got it, let's go. There are 4 seals in total. If my hypothesis is correct, then they should be at these locations respectively. Huh? These 4 locations? We've been to some of them before during our adventures. I see. And did you find anything there? You describe your adventures there. I see. This proves two things. Firstly, my hypothesis is accurate. And the other? Secondly, the situation is grim. We need to get moving and see if we still have a chance to turn things around. Oh, now we've just started it? The past, like, 40 minutes weren't us starting the quest? Honestly, kind of love the energy of that. They really said, oh, bitch, this is just the teaser at the beginning. Looks like someone was just here. Did they already figure out the little mechanism up ahead? There's a bonfire that's still burning over there on the ground. So why is there a bonfire in a place like this? Let me see what's written on the stone tablet. Lo, this place is the Orthent of memory, the hall of memory, the room of memory. Born in an instant, often contradicting, your company in eternal rest, never separated. Fire cannot burn it. A riddle, eh? The answer has got to be fire. There's a bonfire nearby. Just what kind of riddle contains its own answer? Oh, that's right. What do you think it is then? Products of lithiasis? Shadows. Ooh, shadows does seem like the right answer. They are with us for our entire lives and can't be burned by fire. What's the point of figuring out the answer to a riddle that's already been solved? Someone was just here. Paimon can't believe we've run into someone with better archaeological exploration chops than us. Is that a pocket watch on the ground? If this is anything like our usual adventures, we should take a look at this stone tablet. Lo, this place is the Orthent of Souls, the Shrine of Souls, the Room of Souls. I accompany you in eternal rest. Born in an instant, often contradicting, always united. I am life's most cherished treasure. It's a riddle. A valuable pocket watch and one of life's treasures. Oh, Paimon knows. It's gotta be Mora. I'm not sure about that. You're right. The answer to a riddle wouldn't be so tacky. Then it must be... what's the word? Right, wealth. Wonderful. That's one answer we can count out. Come on. Why can't you just trust Paimon? Well, if you're so smart, what do you think it is? Lovely weather we're having. Hey, don't change the subject. Nim's Constancy. Oh, it's from the Nim Stream artifact set. Oh, that's interesting. Eek! There's someone on the ground! Examine the fallen person. Is he? He's still alive, just unconscious. Phew, that's good. We have to get help. We can't just leave him like this. You and Paimon deliver the unconscious man to Lumidu's Harbour. The people there immediately take him to receive medical treatment. Knowing that he is in good hands, the two of you return to where you were before. Oh, I was going to say, are they going to teleport us to Lumidu's? Alright, now let's have a look at the stone tablet. Lo, this place is the Orthont of Wishes, the Temple of Wishes, the Room of Wishes. I've seen Orthont somewhere else, I can't remember where. Often contradicting. Born in an instant, your company in eternal rest, never separated. The tainted fruits of sin. Looks like a riddle. Seems related to the Oceanids. What do you think the answer is then, Harley? Oh, I wasn't paying enough attention. Life? Sounds strange. Can life really bear original sin? Yeah, that was the whole point of the Zarkon quest. Still, Paimon thinks she might have heard that somewhere before. Let's go with that answer for now. To think that we really did find Remuria's ruins at the indicated location. But was there ever any doubt? Mr. Ingold, that's Jacob, has arranged for plans for an official construction project to be drawn up. The people from the Palais Mermonia have already confirmed the location and the construction team has arrived. I suppose it was always better to report our deeds first rather than have them come knocking. The Merchassé hunters were called in to take charge of security. It might be too risky to think that this will completely allay their suspicions. Miss Calafia is not the sharpest tool in the shed, but she is still a disciple of... Disciple of Hoomst. Sounds abyssy. The master is Renee, and Mr. Ingold brought an Oceanid to the as yet incomplete tower. The deeper meaning behind this. Went to seek an audience with the master to ask for advice. This time I only met Mr. Ingold. He seemed to be looking for something. According to Mr. Ingold, the master is performing the great ritual. He said it has to do with the celestial bodies and the primal fire. The primal fire? The details are not to be divulged, or the sanctity of silence and self-driven will be broken. Great focus and separation from the world must be maintained. For a time after this, Mr. Ingold will take charge of... Are they... turning Lyris's remains into something? Someone in the construction team has started spreading some strange rumours. Well, strictly speaking, those aren't rumours, since... Fortunately, Ms. Calafia seems to consider their tales the result of the workers' prejudices against archaeological work. Mental state is... reported to Mr. Ingold. After receiving the report, he organised help for the affected. Calafia seems to have caught on somewhat. She even questioned Mr. Fossamiro to his face regarding the stone slates. Oh yeah, there was a stone slate when I came in here. Madame Laveau and Ms. Lenormand were able to ally her suspicions, but it's only a matter of time before this gets to the Udex. The work is completed. Mr. Ingold, representing the Master, gathered everyone to express, "May the Master's great ritual go smoothly." Yeah, I think they were... This is about when they tried to turn... like, separate Renee's mind and body and turn him into an Oceanid. Even though they kind of already were Oceanids, but they didn't know that, I guess. Or they did. But they basically tried to turn him into water. Since it's Mr. Ingold saying it, I doubt there's any deception here. Still, I do find this a little strange. Ms. Zenaida came to see us in the dead of the night. She claimed to be concerned about the Master's whereabouts. As such, the third time blank fell, she secretly used blank's blank to perform divination. The results? Worrying. Could be a scry glass. Maybe it's related to the Hexen Circle. She suspects that Mr. Ingold has not been truthful and seeks to gather high-level members to submit a public inquiry to him, already prepared a secret report. I should feign non-committance and ask that she reconsider. After all, my own divinations say that the Master is in the tower and hasn't left. So someone who can do divinations, an astrologist. After that, I should leverage Professor Griffin L. Randolph's social standing to release a cover story to the outside world. This reeks of tedium, but it will buy our Ordo some time. At least these nobles will make themselves useful for once. I probed Madame Laveau a little. She seemed unworried about the Master. Her divinations returned results similar to mine. The Master is alive and well and is within the tower. So this would be the NARZISSENKREUZ, the Institute, the tower that we first meet Anne and the other, like, Eidolons in. Pyromancy, Hydromancy, Astromancy, and Blankmancy? Maybe that's like Abyssal? All give the same results. Well, it seems that Ms. Zenaida was simply fear-mongering. Ms. Zenaida and her supporters have abruptly left the Ordo. They left behind a single note, stating that they were disappointed with the future. What the fuck? Well, fair enough. After all, that blank divination of hers seems to be nothing but the work of charlatans. It would be of no help to NARZISSENKREUZ's ideals anyway. Mr. Ingold seemed somewhat disappointed. Out of curiosity, I divined Ms. Zenaida's whereabouts. Something's wrong. Those who left the Ordo previously are still within the tower. Yeah, the like remnants of them. Blank's divination method cannot be mistaken. I must speak to Mr. Ingold in person. So I guess they figured out that after Renee tried to like dissolve himself and everyone into like a liquid consciousness, that they were all kind of like trapped in the tower. Like Anne and like Jacob and that whole lot when we did the quest at Anaporsis. Interesting. I wonder, so this indicates that, oh, that I accidentally pressed my ult. This indicates that people who can perform divinations, which must be related to the Hexen Circle, because I haven't heard of anyone else be able to perform divinations. So it indicates that the Hexen Circle were related to the stuff that happened with the Institute and the Ordo? Oh, excerpt. If water loses its incisiveness, how shall it become water again? If a tree leaves the soil, where shall it go to take root? No matter how mightily stone may strike upon metal, humans cannot survive without water or soil. Copied from Echoes Hallowed and Humble, Movement 9, stanza 37. Obtain the memory piece. Ah. You don't find anything. Oh. There's nothing here either. What exactly are we looking for, Caterpillar? We're looking for the materials necessary to forge the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ. The Ordo was able to reproduce the 4 requisite hypothetical substances here in the material world, based on the esoteric philosophies of the Underground Kingdom and ancient fontaine.
I do not understand.
These enigmatic substances are purely experiential? You could say that they are even further beyond ordinary logic than elemental power.
I entered all introductory to intermediate level textbooks from the Academia's Spontamat into my memory banks decades ago. There's nothing mysterious about elemental power.
Is that so? Anyway, to sum up, this is born of the confluence of traditions from Fontaine and technology from the ancient Underground Kingdom. And thus, 4 types of substance came into being. Memory, wish, soul, and persona. 5? Royale? To avoid any possible ambiguity, let's call them the memory piece, wish piece, soul piece, and persona piece. Why are these used to make the Holy Blade? In the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo's brand of mystical philosophy, the temple is a microcosm of the universe, the members are stand-ins for the gods, and the holy oil is tempered willpower. What? The Holy Blade, on the other hand, is reason, that which cuts everything open. It can only be born out of consummate human will. Quite abstruse. That's esotericism for you. If it looks similar enough, you can latch onto it, and when this kind of thing becomes magic, fiction becomes reality. Anyway, we should make our way to the next area now. This is complicated shit. Oh wait, it's all underwater now. What the fuck? When the fuck did that happen? Why is it all underwater? Oh, hello.
Right here. Emerge. Right now. Smile!
Nice. Okay, the little thing goes in through there. I've done a few of these before. Bro, I don't really fully understand them. But there's some weird shit that we're achieving by going into these. That's all I can say. Oh, we got a chest.
I doubt it.
You carefully inspect the top of the mechanism, but you don't find anything. Did someone take whatever was here too? Looks that way. Just who is? It's Jacob. Oh.
We had an altercation with him inside Elenus once. Clarification. Recently, not once.
When I saw that unfortunate victim at the gate, I knew it was his handiwork. Oh. Yeah, so I had to record it before stream because I ran into it accidentally, but there was some guy who was like incapacitated at the entrance to these ruins, and we took him to get help at Lumidus Harbour. It seems he's still active after all. Then what does he want with the stuff he took from here? Simple. He too wants to reforge the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ. The dream of the Ordo remains unrealized. Anyway, we should make our way to the final area now. Is the area up ahead the final one? We better get a move on. Give me stuff. Oh, okay. This area I haven't been able to go to because it's literally blocked off. See, they should have just done this with the other ones. I don't know why they didn't. This is the last place. Our search hasn't turned up anything so far. Very true. However, this entrance is shut, which means we still have a chance. Looks like our adversary hasn't solved the riddle here. That said, who is our competition exactly? Assuming that the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo has been inactive for centuries, and that the knowledge I possess of it still holds true, combined with events that occurred prior to now, I fear it must be Jacob. That jerk who was picking on Seymour? What would he want with this stuff? I'm afraid that his objective is the same as ours, to find the materials needed to forge the holy blade of NARZISSENKREUZ. The Ordo was able to reproduce the 4 requisite hypothetical substances here in the material world, based on the esoteric philosophies of the Underground Kingdom and ancient Fontaine.
I do not understand.
These enigmatic substances are purely experiential. Wait, he said the exact same thing before. Our adversary hasn't yet solved the riddle, or he did, but wasn't able to provide the correct answer. With Jacob being said adversary, my bet is on the latter. Damn!
The inscription here reads, "Always united, born in an instant, often contradicting, it accompanies you in eternal rest."
Shadow. And the last line is the first droplet. The areas from before had riddles like this as well. Do you guys still remember the answers? A shadow. Life. Love. Ugh, the answers just keep getting more abstract, don't they? Caterpillar, Seymour, do you guys know the answer to this riddle? I think I have an idea concerning the first droplet. It sounds like it's referring to the first raindrop that fell following the creation of the world. I mean, isn't it to refer to the first human beings that were in Fontaine that were actually oceanids created by Egeria? I believe this idea was in vogue with both ancient Fontaine and the Ordo. But how are we supposed to find something like that? Well, this first droplet became part of all water in Devat. In that sense, every drop of water is the first droplet. It's like the first god spreading out the potential for greatness. An element of divinity is present in every person's body. But if it's that simple, the person who came before us should have had no problem offering up the right answer. Indeed, I'm probably wrong. Primordial water? Well, even if it was the wrong answer, it was a good one. I can only conclude that the person who set up these riddles had no sense of romance. And now he's laughing at you for not getting how security works.
I am unable to provide an answer. My search for the first droplet retrieved 1,200 results. Legend has it that the world's first drop of wine came to be when the animal god...
Okay, you can stop there.
Very well.
About that, I think I have something I can share. There's a legend that says the oceanids came from the first tear shed by the previous Hydro Archon. So the key is Anne? Meanwhile, the first tear on the earth was shed by the first oceanid after she came to understand humanity. Wouldn't the first tear in the world have come from the first crying human baby? Animal tears are actually salt discharges, and in those peaceful times, humans breathed their first in laughter. That's what the legends say anyway.
Actually, I believe that the cries of babies and animal salt discharges can be regarded as similarly unemotional behaviors. Babies cry due to external stimuli, and to fill their lungs with air as quickly as possible. That's what the Sumeria Immortal textbooks say.
Is the answer an oceanid then? That does seem like an answer that the person before us might not have provided. I think we're on the right track. Sure beats trying to find the Animo God's wine. Based on my understanding of the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo, this makes logical sense. The Red Empress who dreams in a place unknown, the dreamer who never says what they mean. That's even more confusing than the riddles. Well, does that matter? We're already at the final juncture. Whatever the case, the answer will come to light at the end. Now then, Anne, if you wouldn't mind. Sure, I'll give it a try, but do come up with another answer quickly if I fail, right? It opened. We have to get the last piece, otherwise the Holy Blade will fall into the Ordo's hands. To do what exactly? That's what I don't really quite get. And the Ordo doesn't really even exist anymore. It's literally just Jacob. It's just him. O Remus, player of the Grand Symphony, king of all the world, your music is heard across the heavens. It resounds throughout the earth. When Sabia's golden bee gives you a warning, O merciful one, grant us eternal life. Proclaim the sacred moment that it should be praised for all eternity. Copied from the third hymn, movement 5, stanza 1. Okay. Oh, hi.
Right here. Strike a pose. Hold that pose.
The wind knows me. Faithful offering.
There's lots of picture frames in here. This is the one I came from. And there's always the one with the sunflowers. In the area that looks like Enkanomiya. Sunflowers do seem key to everything. Oh, they don't attack me. What the fuck? Oh. Oh, the docks are not interactable. Oh, this is like showing a memory, right? Oh, I wonder if this is like to represent Alain once he found out that Marianne had died. Is that the persona piece ahead?
Unable to analyze the density of the substance before us, it appears to have a mass of 0.
It looks like we've got the last piece. We should at least be able to negotiate a bit with our opposition now. On the bright side, at least we can stop the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo from forging the Holy Blade. Not at all, Paimon. Our final goal is to forge the Holy Blade ourselves, and use it to stop their plan. Of course, Anne, I have not forgotten what this sword means to you. A holy sword that can cut out the will is also your key to unraveling the mystery. And to be honest, it is equally important to me as well. It's just that we have more important, more pressing matters at hand. Would you mind then if we look into the mysteries surrounding us later? I'm fine with that. In that case, Harley, please take this persona with you if you would. I suppose I can take this to mean that you've accepted our invitation. What's happening? What just happened? Someone said something and then we were separated from Caterpillar and the others. Why are we swimming through the air? Where are we being sent? Bro. This is wild. Huh? Though that voice sounded familiar, it was probably Jacob, right? Where have we heard it before? It's probably Jacob. We're going up to the tower? Whee! This is so strange to be doing this through the air. So they separated us. I wonder what happened to the others. Wow. Then we ended up at the top of that Tower of Gestalt place. We're separated from Caterpillar, Anne, and Seymour. What should we do? It looks like there are traps waiting down below. It's not dangerous yet. Let's count some prime numbers. Come on, you should have at least have a little sense of urgency. Paimon knows you're a good fighter, but Paimon's worried about the others. But our only choice is to keep going. Oh, is that the entrance? If there's any traps, just smash them. Great, thanks, Paimon. I want to get the Hydroculus that I saw at the top here. Notice. In accordance with Fontainian law and the Provisional National blank provisions, as well as the Mermonia Act number 1-2, the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo is declared an illegal extremist group and a criminal organization. This location will be permanently sealed from this day forth. Destroying this blank board will be seen as a challenge to national authority, and violators will be publicly sentenced on charges of blank, date blank. The reverse side has the seal of the courts and the signatures of Alain, Guillotine, and Neuvillette. Yeah, so it got really bad and Alain reported him. Which makes sense. They were trying to dissolve everyone into a giant oceanid. That seems pretty bad, all told. Wait, could this be The NARZISSENKREUZ auto? How the fuck? But... Oh, interesting. You can't teleport back here to go in. I see. I was worried the master's clock might break down at a crucial moment, so I came to just to do a bit of maintenance. Oh, here we go. What took you so long? I've even had time to finish the anti-rust treatment and oil it up. That's the voice we heard earlier. You're, the purple dude. I've told you, just call me Jacob. How did you set up this trap? I believe the persona section to be the most important, for there lies the persona excised by Master NARZISSENKREUZ himself. Only a drop of water from an oceanid can open it. I can't allow it to be taken by just any ignorant adventurer. Guy, you know, like, you were manipulated as a child, right? You don't have to do all this. So I set a trap before activating the orthon and sealed the space off. Why are you here? Why shouldn't I be here? This is a NARZISSENKREUZ auto base. Is there something wrong with returning to my own base? I mean, other than the fact that you're part of an illegal extremist organization. You're the ones who are trespassing. Don't you feel even a twinge of guilt for breaking the law? This was once the realm of a god. Now a pheasant sits upon the throne. Just like the world today. Oh, like the oceanid. Pheasant. As compensation, give me the rest of your paints and the persona I need. I refuse. Even now, at a time like this, just what are you so hung up on? The countdown to the world's end has started. Well, not really, because, we did the whole Archon quest, that solved it, so it's fine. I must forge the Holy Blade and place it in my master's hand. He doesn't really exist anymore. Is NARZISSENKREUZ this master of yours? Indeed, according to his world formula, the second deluge is looming before us. When it comes, only he will be able to save the world. That feels very egotistical. And also, like, that's the thing that I'm really struggling with, is it seems like this world quest is sort of mirroring what's happening in the Archon quest, but we already dealt with it in the Archon quest. So why are we still dealing with it in the world quest? I don't understand. Only by forging the Holy Blade can he continue his unfinished work, gathering the wills of everyone in Fontaine, the continent, and even the entire planet unto himself. That's egomaniac. As the primordial sea returns once more, and as the devourer of all darkens the sky, only he who is whole unto himself may survive. That's incorrect, and also, we dealt with this in the Archon quest. I'm so confused. Only then will all of our souls, nay, all of humanity's souls, be spared from destruction. Well, fun fact, you weren't humans to begin with, you were all oceanids. We will welcome a new dawn in the tranquil sea of innocence he grants us. This is very culty. So this is your big plan to save the world? Sounds like you're just bundling everyone's consciousness together without consent. And what would you know of anything? Only Master NARZISSENKREUZ's new body will survive the coming of the second deluge. Even if all other life disappears into the sea, he will survive alone. He will remember all those lives that were lost. What's the point in that? He recognizes the value and equality of all life, a selflessness that shall not be besmirched by one such as you. So where is he now? In the deepest depths beneath us. When the thugs and dogs of Fontaine surrounded us and attempted to wipe us out, he descended alone into the abyss below. But he must still be alive, and the time for his return is nigh. Quickly, give me what you have on you. Then I will have all the Orthants, and you may leave. How about this? I will trade you this rust treatment and oil. Think of it as a gift for that foolish dog. In the dawn of the new world, it is unlikely there will be a place for it, or Guillotine's fantasies. I refuse. The world is not as weak as you think. Yeah, we already solved this! That's right. Paimon and Harley have seen more crises than you've eaten Lotus Flower crisps, and we always come out on top. Truly, there is no reaching your exalted heights. I remember how the Master used to pretend to be an evil dragon when we played as children. Who would have thought he would become the hero, while the real evil dragons would come at us, one after another? Bestie, you're deluded. Guillotine may have disappeared, but here his successors come, self-assured, thinking themselves totally infallible. What the heck are you talking about? The time has come. A century ago, the prophecy predicted all. He will return. If you will not give me what I need willingly, I will take it myself. Oh, bro. This guy. How bothersome. Oh!
Emerge. Right here. Right
He's
now.
like the boss version.
Shower me with praise. Say cheese.
So we've arrived in time. Oh! You seem to have forgotten, Hilly Child, that you were a monster, a being bereft of memory and wisdom. I will have you remember your origin. My master and I gave you intelligence, so we can snuff that flame out as well. And you, machine, your memories are nothing but carvings on gemstones, your wisdom just a simulation created by tape, gears, and crystalline pipelines. I destroyed you once before. This time I will turn you into little more than shards of scrap metal.
Right here.
Damn,
right now.
bro.
Right here. Strike a pose.
It's been a while, Chrysalis. Still no sign of metamorphosis, I see. Perhaps you've grown too used to being a caterpillar? Have you already forgotten the time we spent here? It was a brief time compared to our eternity, but those brief moments granted us mastery of this universe. I was nothing more than your exhibit at that time, nor could I understand your grand plans. Plus, I tend to have a bad memory for things I don't like. But on your return, you performed the dispelling ritual. How fastidious of you. Of course, how could I allow spiritual impurities or contaminants into the Master's space? Alas, you have not yet left your cocoon. You will return to the void in the end. There is no place for you in the new world. Hand over the rest of it. I shall permit it. It seems as it is you who are the hero wielding the holy blade in this telling of the story, while I am the dragon who falls to your sword. It matters not in the end. All the elements are in place and the dragon has been defeated. You may guard reason, for now. After all, nobody can truly own the holy blade. You merely hold it as it travels in the direction it must, until it reaches its final destiny. The holy blade can be any object, but there is particular symbolism in it being a sword. Well then, present something that can hold reason. Let's use the holy blade of NARZISSENKREUZ we found earlier. Nod. This is... What's next, Jacob? Don't you want to reforge the holy blade as soon as possible? Next, Oceanid, you touch the sword. Is this a trap? No. Although the holy blade can part any will from water, it can also unite wills. It can accommodate both the primordial and that of order. You have been chosen because even if you are an illusion, you contain something that the NARZISSENKREUZ Ordo has gathered over many years. The power of will. Should we trust him? I don't really know what's happening.
His biological indicators show a very low probability of lying, though I remain doubtful.
How long must you dawdle? You're no better than that rusty old shell guillotine created. Would you like some oil for your brain? Or rust remover? Speaking of rust remover, what about it? That watch. Yeah, we can try using rust remover on the watch. What nonsense are you all going on about? Adults shouldn't interrupt children. And I'm a child too. As he says, turning back into his child form. Whoa, it's open. Wait. So this is Lyris. This is, Basil Elton. She was like a Navy lady. And then these are the kids. This must be Jacob. This must be Alain. This must be Marianne. And this must be Renee. Cool. Wow. And there's a photo inside? How nostalgic. Alain, Renee, Director Lyris, Marianne, and myself, as we once were. I remember this photo. I think I remember...
Matching traits detected. That is Marianne, my ward.
Well, has the oil helped lubricate your rusty decision-making skills? If we don't take this step, we'll never be able to leave the world of memory. Yeah, let me give it a try then. Anne, it's okay. I've made up my mind. She's gonna disappear, isn't she? Whoa. Is this what the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ is really like? Weren't you listening? Caterpillar just explained that the Holy Blade can indwell any form that holds significance. Oh, and he's back to human form. Just like the Holy Blade of NARZISSENKREUZ we imagined. You changed back? Very good. My mission is complete. Now I propose a trade. Now you, Oceanid, please take all my emotions and memories. Huh? My power is no match for yours, and I will soon disappear. Why will you disappear? Save all that I am, that I may be reunited with everyone in the new world. Seems like he's not up to date with the latest news. Yeah, I've been fucking saying, bro! Like, I did the Archon quest! But we established several nodes in Fontaine in accordance with the seal of chemical marriage as part of our response to the apocalypse. Today, only the 5 most important survive. Only the smallest part of our master's plan has been implemented, but even that is a form of success. The arrival of the new world is fated. I cannot absorb your persona and memories. After all, I have no wish to retain anyone as with such serious sins on their hands as you are now. Huh? You may no longer be the crybaby, Jacob, but as you are now, you are still not worthy of eternity. Ooh! Rather than do that, we will help you and treat you. You must atone for your sins. Part of the Red Empress is within you, so you should know that she rejected the future. She wanted to return to the NARZISSENKREUZ Institute as it was, and watch again as we pretended to be the NARZISSENKREUZ adventure team. Beautiful memories are the only eternity in this world. There are no others. Grant it to me, O being of eternity. I do not wish to do so, and I will persuade that part of Lyris too. The appointed time has come. It seems the watch wound up running a little fast over the course of a century. What's going on here? I have reversed the seal of chemical marriage and reforged the Holy Blade of Reason. The truth of the world formula has been proven. The seal of chemical marriage was an ancient Fontainian ritual meant to seal off the source of life. Now it has been reversed, and all has been set free once more. Wait, back in the Fortress of Meripede, the Primordial Sea was... Now it is time for our master. No, for Renee to return. He will break the seal and control the source of life. The pure water of life will inundate the world as he rises once more, giving birth to a new universe. All souls will be preserved forever, and the Blade of Will shall fall into the waters and be grasped by its legitimate owner. All will be united as one, and gain the power to combat the apocalypse. Jacob! I've already anticipated the end for this body. The clock may stop, and its hands fall still. It may take Master a little time to find my will in the new world, but do not worry, we will meet there again. Jacob! So I noticed that on the clock, the shape of the hands and like the edges of the clock looked like the top of the Abyssling's crown thing. What a terrible ending, but I feel there's little time for mourning or lamentation. Everything now hangs by a thread. If my sense of direction is right, I'm afraid the interior of the Tower of Gestalt is below us now. You've never been there, Caterpillar? It is the closest point to Master's ultimate goal. I do not believe many have been there. That means we don't know what we'll find there. I'm ashamed to admit it, but yes. What's all this? All the people sealed in this tower?
Warning. Abnormal environmental changes detected.
Paimon can see that just fine. Seems we don't have much time. Let's get to work, quickly. Before Jacob's new world becomes a reality. How is he going to make that world a reality? We have saved the world. Like, I'm so... It just keeps feeling like everything is at odds. To excise the self is not to die, but rather to die before death. That way there is no life to be ended. Thus may one achieve eternity. This step is vital, for by this, one may avoid receiving a vision by some error. Oh, to receive a vision is to sell oneself to the fate of this world. To mean, and to evermore lose the chance to walk the correct path. Interesting. So this idea that getting a vision gives you a fate. But then the people who don't have visions still have a fate. Io, Io, Pan, that which lies beneath the great sea. The purpose of this line in the ritual scripture is to forsake the self and sink into the abyss, and in the abyss to welcome rebirth as a holy infant. Oh. The origin of this is a tragedy of unknown provenance that has been passed down by persons unknown to this day. Said play is called Ajax, or Aias. So that was what Child was named after. He was the second strongest warrior in his alliance. Lies beneath the great sea is itself an interesting phrase. It comes from ancient Sumerian texts, and should be read as Narayana, which also means primordial human. This too is my goal, for not all that comes from beyond may be as one that descends. Descenders. That title belongs only to wills that can rival an entire world. Oh. So descenders are ones whose wills rival an entire world? That is what I seek, the way to become just such a will, one that can protect the world, sustain the world, destroy the world, and create the world. That's very arrogant of you, Renee. I guess that takes us out. Well, shit. Go deep. Oh, I can't just jump down? I have to actually press go deeper? Okay. What a huge mechanical core. How shall we descend? Oh, get it because we're descenders? I think we're going down towards the abyss. An optical coupling design, is it? It looks like we need to get all the rays to hit their targets. So how do we do that? There must be some kind of equipment nearby. Have a look around. I'm so invested in this. Oh, we're on to Act 2 now.